and Rexon will come in and give us a hand. But these tracks look fairly fresh, so we might have some leopards on the cards for the morning. Keep our fingers crossed. Ali's also doing a little bit of tracking. I'm not sure what animal she's tracking, so let's go find out.
Well, we're not too sure which ones, but we also have some leopard tracks on this road, which is funny enough a road that leads to Treehouse Dam. So we've been following them for a little while. We were quite surprised to see them. Just want to grab a piece of grass to circle the one that I'm looking at, because it's been steadily moving in that direction and they seem to be for a male. Now I have lost the track that I wanted to show you guys. Just maybe need to look at it. This is very unique. Maybe I even stepped on it and that's why I can't see it. Oh my god. Oh, there we go. It's always a matter of light. So this track around here. Now it seems like there's been a lot of activity during the night. Lots of other tracks for other things that have been walking on top of it. But at some point it seemed like these tracks were actually breaking the dew that was left on the road this morning. So that's why we've decided now to follow them up. And we'll see if perhaps they start leading onto the ones that Taylor had. Because it could then be that there's the same individual that's been around there. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 lobes back here. And then of course 1, 2, 3, and 4 toes here, and heading in that direction roughly. So luckily for us it's quite a nice sandy road, so it's easy to just drive around on the one side and follow the tracks. I can see a few more heading in that general direction, so I think let's follow them. I don't think they are the most fresh of tracks. I think they were from probably sometime during the night, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be someone that's been around. I wouldn't be surprised if Tingana himself walked all the way around here and then moved south, but at least it's the first lead in the morning into one of our cats, so we shall follow it as well and see if perhaps we get lucky with one of our spotted friends. Who knows, it could also be Hosanna, especially around this area. I just want to call this one's on the radio. There's Nkonzo for Madura Ingwe, or Young Madura Ingwe, heading towards Treehouse Dam. I'm just gonna quickly follow up around this area. We're coming from Shibamo side. Shibamo? Yeah, Shibamo. Alright. We have called those tracks in. It could be that it's the same ones that Taylor has got all the way there, but I'm not too sure yet, so we might as well just follow them a little bit more, and then if we see that they cut in a certain direction, then perhaps it's the same one. But it wouldn't be the first time where we've got more than one leopard on the property. Now you're walking on the other side of the road, and I just don't want to be squashing any tracks in case they veer off the road. Hopefully we'll be able to find something, although who knows, cats can be quite elusive. Okay, I don't see any more tracks on my side. Sam, can you see any tracks on your side? I'm too tiny. I can't see onto the other side. Alright. Woo! Going the wrong way. Alright, I think maybe what we must do is just try going around Treehouse Dam, and hopefully we'll be able to get something around there, because even if he veered off and went in this direction, I wouldn't be surprised if it went down there for a drink. No, definitely no more trucks here. There are some nice game paths, and a lot of the times the animals, well, we are stuck to having to go to the road to then go to the dam, but of course there are shortcuts in the bush that the animals often use to get from point A to point B. Let's see. Okay. I can't see anything else around here, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of our beloved leopards actually walked around here. Just gonna check quickly if I can see any tracks. Come, Rusty. Reverse. Sometimes Rusty doesn't like reversing. I think it's spent too much time with Tristan and it only likes going onwards and forwards. Okay. I am hoping we're gonna have a leopard drinking at Treehouse Dam. Here's to hoping. No. Alright, there doesn't seem to be a leopard around here. I just want to check quickly with my binoculars just in case we're missing any well hidden spots. And of course have a view at the dam. James, you say we need a cat for Feline Friday. We do indeed. We have been trying, however, sometimes they don't cooperate with us all too much. But Taylor and I are quite stubborn with the leopards, so we will try our best to see if maybe we can find them. And you see there isn't too much happening around Treehouse Dam, just the good old lapwing that's calling every now and again, and I wonder if perhaps its little chicks are somewhere around here. Can't really see them anymore. And just on the edge of the shore over, yeah, that one, that tip there, there is a pied wagtail. There we go. There's a pied wagtail. There seem to be a few of them moving around the water today. Oh, there they are. Okay, if you go straight onto the other shore, you see the adult lapwing on the right hand side.
Yeah.
If you go down to the water, there are the little chicks. I think maybe this one will be a better view of them. Look at them running around. Very pretty. Going around with the parrot. Now, we know that there's a rebel sibling that seems to like being with its by itself. It doesn't like spending time with the other two. So it is a bit ahead of them, so don't worry. We still have the three of them running around and playing games. Such a characteristic gait, the way that they run, the lapwings. It's almost like their head is about to fall and the rest of their body has got to keep up with them. Good to know that they're still here. I'm happy to see that the three little ones have made it yet another night. Very pretty. And already they know by instinct where to go to find food. So I'm sure this one is looking for breakfast already. Perhaps like Taylor, it's very hungry. Okay, Elle, you say that they are so tiny they are. I could very well keep them in put them in my hand. And I think they'll be quite small. Look at that. Very pretty and small. You guys are very sweet. Alright. Let's go on to the other road and carry on with our feline search. Hopefully they'll be around. Bye bye, little ones. Lovely to see you. And I can see our good friend Scuba Steve the hippo is also in the dam. Every now and again we can just have a look of his nostrils. Right, I'm gonna go on foot for a little while, see if I perhaps can figure out where these trucks have gone up to. But while I do that, let's go to Taylor and find out how her search is going.
Ali, I don't know, these leopards are stumping me. Well, I think Tandi's actually left Tumba and she's obviously gone off to find the next meal. Now I don't have any more tracks. We're on Mvubu Road, but Tumba's tracks start coming down this way. You may have seen me, if you're watching the dam cam, you could have actually seen me just walking around trying to play investigator, but he keeps turning back and going almost back towards that Jackalberry, so we'll go there now. I just want to drive Mvubu Road towards Buffelshoek boundary, and then we'll go down Gari Cut Line. It's so difficult to try and figure out what happened. I reckon if we actually came here first thing this morning, we probably would have bumped into those leopards, but it's impossible to know. Obviously we had no leads to follow up on from yesterday afternoon, so that must have meant that those leopards were just laying in that very, very thick drainage line where the Nguhumas at one point last year were spending quite a bit of time in, and it's virtually impossible to get a car in there. We've tried to have sightings of Tingana in there before, and it's just too difficult to push a vehicle through without completely destroying it. And I promise you, we do put a concerted effort into trying not to break the vehicles all the time, only for those exceptional sightings. Hang on, let me just check here. It's also very difficult because of the amount of hyena tracks that are going up and down too. That definitely does not help. No, I think these are old ones. Let's carry on. We'll do what we said. We'll go towards the boundary and then we'll come back down the cut line. Lots of hippo tracks around here too. Not that I think the hippos are still going to be out and about. I think they would have headed back towards their watering hole. Now I wanted to know from all of you, have any of you been seeing any hippos sort of wading across Vuyatela Dam? Because the tracks always lead to that way. And unfortunately I don't watch the dam cam, especially not when I'm sleeping. Actually I don't really watch it at all, sometimes when I'm on holiday. And it'd be nice to know if you have been seeing any hippos sort of moving through that shallow water. It's obviously not very much for them to submerge their bodies, but you know, never mind, maybe just to get the feet wet on a night out would be quite nice. You can hashtag Safari Live, maybe got some cool screenshots or something like that. It'd be nice to see. Okay, let's keep our eyes peeled here though. This is also not a strange area for Thandi to hang around in. I think she's been seen up here before with Hosana. No, not Hosana, with Shongile and Mvula when they were on a kill. It was Tristan's sighting. Ooh. Well, Mersault, you're wondering what would you do if you ran into a hippo in the bush? Hopefully you're not doing too much running around in the bush, because you're not concentrating, but I do get what you mean. Sure, it's a tough one. I was actually telling, my mom and I were discussing this because she's scared to go when I went and visited my folks in Hazyview 2 days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, just for the night, and some family friends, and we went walking, and we weren't really anywhere near game reserves and stuff like that, but I have seen hippos out and walking around, and there's this little river, and they did have a sign, beware of hippos. My mom was asking this question, what do I do? And she panicked and she kept pushing me in front. I think we've got some parrots, Craig, while I tell my story. Up top, the top of the tree I can just see bright green, so that says to me straight away it's too dark of a green to be an African green pigeon. It's definitely a brown-headed parrot. That's very nice, sunning itself. Typically they're in pairs, so I wonder where the other one is. Anyways, while you watch that, so the most important thing, Mersault, is that with hippos, they don't give very many warning signs, and they're very quick on foot, so you do have to be careful. With a hippo and a buffalo, if it's a buffalo bull, I would say you need to get out of their way. Standing your ground might not necessarily work with a hippo, so you'd actually want to, if you could, climb a tree, climb a fallen tree, you know, get out of their way, put some obstacles between you and the hippo, because there's very little chance of you deterring one. This is in my opinion. Of shouting at one and clapping your hands and getting it to stop and turn. You can do that with elephants, seem to respond quite well, lions and leopards most certainly, but I don't think I've ever stopped a hippo by shouting at it at all. They don't seem to care. Remember, they're one of Africa's most dangerous animals, and they also feel exceptionally vulnerable on land. So in the water, if you shouted at one and you know, sort of made a bit of noise, it might actually turn and move away because it feels comfortable in the water, but now it's already panicked and in a very nervous state out on land. So instead of fleeing, they might go, I have to turn and fight. So just be very careful. For me on foot, hippos and buffalo make me extremely nervous, just because they're so unpredictable. Elephants, you can read their behavior. Lions, leopards, you can read their behavior. They tell you when they're angry with you. So do hippos and buffalo, but they don't give you much chance to sort of get away. But how beautiful is this brown-headed parrot, and sitting so nicely for us too. What was that? It must be an African green pigeon around here too. I heard the beginning of the call. Can you hear that? It's a weird noise. It's stopped now. Stanley, Stanley, Stanley. You're wondering, am I a little bit colorblind? Or is he green? He is green. He's green. He's beautiful with a brown head. Now, I like the Mayor's parrots, which I've only just recently seen. They've got a bit of blue on them. They're also quite striking. Do I have my bird book here? No, I don't have my bird book here, but I have my mobile device. So I can show you a picture, which I will get to now. It's going to take me a little bit of time to go back. I've got to go to P for parrots. Yeah, you can hear it calling too. I wonder if it's looking for its mate. Like I said, they're monogamous. It's unusual to see just one parrot on its own. It can also be quite gregarious. You see them in big groups. Mayor's parrot. Let me open this. There's a pearl-spotted owlet. Can you hear it? I don't know where it is. Okay, look, can we see that fork-tailed drongo? Let's see if it's going to start to mimic. No, that's not the drongo calling. It's doing its typical mechanical call. It seems as though we have a duet. Or we had very briefly had a duet of the pearl-spotted owlets calling. Let's see if it's going to join in. No, you're making your mechanical sounds this morning, and off it goes again. Cool, so I have pictures for you to have a look at. I suppose I better wipe the phone so you can actually see. It gets quite dusty out here. Turn it that way. Look how beautiful they are. Try and get it in the right angle too. That's alright. So that's the Mayor's parrot that you're looking at now. I'll go to the next photo as well. Ah, look lovely. Little bit of bonding going on. Isn't that nice? What's the next one? Eating flowers. There we go. You can see what their diet is, and that's probably why that parrot is hanging around in that knobthorn tree. We'll be eating the flowers. Isn't that beautiful? So there's lots of different parrots out here. That's the egg, but don't worry about the egg because I don't really think they have a good description of the parrots. Right, let's continue. Ooh. Now a question from Paul. I'm going to have to bring the mobile device out, okay? Unlock, please. Thank you. You were wondering if we get grey-headed parrots, or grey parrots. Yeah, grey-headed. I mean, it's over. Actually, I don't think I've seen one before. So that's what they look like. That's the drawing of one. I'm going to just scroll to, that's them again. So here's the distribution. No! Just out of our reach. Goodness, that was a monster sneeze. Well, I've chased all the birds away now. No, the parrot is actually still sitting up there, surprisingly. Just out of our reach, but I reckon I might be going up to Mapungubwe National Park again on my, oh, no, that always does it, on my next leave. And that, Mapungubwe is, my finger's even too big to point, on the verge of Botswana and Zimbabwe. It's just up there with South Africa, so that's sort of where those three places join, and they occur there. So I will keep an eye out for the grey-headed parrots, because that'll be a new one for me. What parrots did I see in Zambia? I can't remember now. Let me see if I can find them. I can't remember. No. Yeah, I don't know why I can't remember what parrots we saw in Lozambizi National Park. Oh, I'll have to go back and do some research. It was a few years ago. Now, Snazzy, who has a snazzy name and is asking snazzy questions this morning, was wondering, are those the types of parrots that people keep as popular pets? Not particularly. Well, not here, in fact. In South Africa, I'm just trying to think of parrots that people will keep as pets. African greys, of course, which is a popular parrot to have as a pet all over the world. Actually, a lot of conures. In fact, conures and lorikeets, rainbow lorikeets are a very popular one. I've never met anybody that's had a brown-headed parrot or a Mayor's parrot as a pet, but it wouldn't put it past me. I don't think I'd be too surprised if somebody said they had an aviary and they had these different types of parrots. And people big trend is to keep lots of finches, but I think that's a trend all over the world as well. So no, I'm not actually sure. Cockatoos are another, cockatiels, budgies. I had a black-headed conure growing up. His name was Moose. He was my favorite bird in the whole world. He was in a... Oh, that was a jumping impala. He was in a massive aviary, and then unfortunately he got picked on by the other birds. He was bullied, and they pulled his tail feathers out. So I took him. It was a family friend of ours, massive aviary, and he was so great. I had him for 12 years, and then unfortunately he had a heart attack. Well, that's what the vet said had happened. Oh, there's a waterbuck just straight in front of the car on the other side, and I loved him. He was so sweet. That side of the drainage line, up there, in there. No, you're going past it now. Just in there. He's hidden. You really see the camouflage of a waterbuck now, hiding away. Beautiful big bull. Isn't that cool? There's another one. It's a little bachelor herd at the moment. We've been seeing quite a few waterbuck bulls. There's a couple of them in and amongst these. But again, when the bush goes this sort of yellow color and a lot of the trees lose their leaves, they really just blend in. They look like branches. It's just amazing how at different times of the year the various camouflage sort of peaks, and it works at its absolute best. Though most of the prey species are camouflaged, and particularly the predators are camouflaged at this time of the year too. Bye, waterbuck. Well, let's carry on with our search though, because we're looking for leopards, of course. Nice to stop and have a quick look at a few other things though. I haven't seen any more leopard searches. I haven't seen any more leopard tracks around here, so I think we're going to go back towards Gari Cutline, and if not, he's in this block, and I'm going to do a bit of warting. What is wrong with me? Walking, not warting. Well, warthogs on the brain. Anyways, let me send you across to Ali very quickly before I stumble on any more of my words.
Well, I think maybe I need to find out from Taylor if she saw some of that scat that's close to Treehouse Dam. Sorry, I'm just being called upon on the radio. Standing by. Negative, just following up on some Nkonzo around Shibamo Treehouse Dam area. Alright. Yes, sorry. So it seems like the tracks come all the way onto Treehouse Dam, and there was some scat on the dam wall or close to the dam wall, and now we're trying to figure out where those tracks are going, because it seems like there's been a lot of vehicle activity around this area this morning. I think quite a few vehicles have come around, so I wonder if perhaps this leopard didn't just cross the road and then unfortunately we didn't see it and somebody squashed the track. So I'm going very, very slowly just to hope that we'll be able to spot any tracks upon this road for a leopard, because I have a strong feeling that it's going towards Philemon's Cutline. So if not, then I think maybe I'm just gonna head onto that road and try and see again. If no, that's, what is that? What is that? Are you a leopard track? No. And then hopefully we'll be able to see it. Now a lot of the tracking it's great that we don't have doors, because then that means that my face can be closer to the ground and paying a bit more attention. Because in where I've worked before, where you have a door, it's a bit of a complicated thing, and then eventually your ribs start hurting because you have to lean on the door so much to try and see any of the tracks around here. But I don't think, let's see, I don't think this creature, whoever it is, actually walked here. I think it walked through the block, as I've seen a few of them do that, and they quite enjoy walking on certain inconspicuous roads. So it is a bit of a tough one, but we will carry on trying, won't we, Seb? Of course we will try. Good. Because you have very good eyes, you have eagle eyes to scan the bush. So I wouldn't be surprised, because it happens often where our faces will be on the ground and we're just paying attention to that, and then we can just either walk or drive past the animal. It's happened on a few occasions where it's just like, oh, the tracks go here, 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 and then somebody goes like, it's in front of you, and you're like, oh. Well, what? Reverse, yes. Yeah. Okay. Alright, further. No problem, let me just switch off so that there's no vibrating. And also there haven't been any impalas alarming or... Ooh. Part of the termite mound.
One of those ones that look like a leopard.
Yes, there are plenty of termite mounds that look like leopards, which is a bit unfortunate sometimes. Okay, let's see. So there are lots of tracks here, but they've been driven over. So that makes it a little bit more complicated to try and find some old tracks in here. Alrighty, come on, leopard! I wouldn't be surprised if Hosanna was actually somewhere around here. Because I think he was in Little Gowrie yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Alright. Oh no, this is the hippo. I thought that I was seeing something entirely different. But I'm sure this is, we had a hippo not too far from here a while ago, and I'm sure it's the same one that's sleeping now in Treehouse Dam, because it's roughly going on to the area where we had them that time. So we already know which hippo likes feeding around the old hyena den and around Philemon's Cutline. I wonder, I think I want to do this road again, just to see if anything popped out on here, purely because I know not too many people have driven on top of this road, so that'll give us a bit more of an idea if this animal actually did cross onto this road and then carried on. Lots of hippo tracks. Hippos have been busy during the night. Okay, can't see any tracks from here. Luckily the sun is in our favor now, so it's a bit easier to spot the tracks ahead on the road. Because a lot of track spotting I find is just a position of the sun and where the sun is actually shining from, because a lot of the times you'll be able to see them if you drive past and then the light hits the track a certain way, but then when you go back, like just happened to me now with that leopard track, I had seen it, I had seen quite a few, and then when I jumped off the car and I changed my perspective, I can't even see it anymore. Okay, come on kitties. I think maybe here. Alright, seems like Taylor's also looking, so let's go over to her and find out how her search is going. Hopefully better than ours.
Not leopards anymore. I'm done with those spotted cats. Guess what we did find though, and I'm very excited, which is why I've turned around. So we drove along Bullshoek boundary, and just after we left, we actually found a family of warthogs. Sorry, very bumpy here. And then we found some elephants coming in from Bullshoek boundary, but they were a little bit too far. So I thought, let's quickly do what we said we were going to do, because I don't do that very often. I get distracted, and I said, let's come and check the jackalberry tree. We checked jackalberry tree on Gowrie Cutline. Nothing. There's nothing. There's a herd of Inyala around there. Again, not that that means that there's not a leopard around, but I suspect that these cats are in this extensive block between Bullshoek boundary, Gowrie Cutline, Central and Mvubu Road. They're somewhere in here, or at least Tumba is somewhere in here. And we won't go searching for him now, because I couldn't see where his tracks disappeared off. He wasn't on the animal pathway. But I think when we eventually get there, those elephants should be very close to Bullshoek boundary, so we can have an elephant sighting. Yay! If they haven't stopped to change direction. It wasn't a big herd, it's just a small family. But hopefully we'll get there. I'll try and get there as quick as I can, but I always forget as to how long this road actually is, so we'll go a little bit quicker than the pace that I was driving in the last segment. I was going like snail. I'm just also going to keep searching though. Tumba likes to sit in trees, so you know, there's lots of big marulas around here. Definitely plenty of comfortable trees for him to hop up into, or he could be down in the drainage line again, which is so thick though, so you wouldn't really see anything. He seems to like those areas. It's where he practices his hunting the most. But if he comes up this way, there's warthogs that he can practice on, and if anything, he'll have a better chance at catching a young, inexperienced sub-adult warthog rather than an Inyala. Although you'd have to be careful, especially if mom's around. with the warthogs because they can be quite protective, and that maternal instinct kicks in, and they often chase leopards, and sometimes even they'll have a go at lion too. Okay, we're on the boundary now, so that's good. Let's go see if we find the small grey animals and then the big grey animals. We'll probably get the warthogs first if they're still here. They were on the left-hand side of the road, so between the boundary and the fire break. Again, were burnt in the last few days, last week. Flies so quickly out here. And I get over this little ride, we should be able to see the elephants. Now, dear watcher, wondering when the grass is going to start growing where these fires were. It's a little bit difficult to say, but because we had a bit of a spit and a spatter yesterday morning, clouds opened slightly, and it wasn't very much rain, but like I was saying yesterday in the sunset safari, grass doesn't need lots of rain, 2 or 3 mils of rain, and it starts to pop up. So I reckon let's give it another week. We'll just keep checking around here and see if we see some nice new grass shoots. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate. Concentrating, driving and speaking, I find it to be quite difficult sometimes. Okay, where are the elephants now? If these elephants have now disappeared, I'm going to be sad. No, I think it further up, Craig? Oh, there they are. Okay, woo! Come elephants, come this way. There was also a herd of elephants that went down. Oh, hang on, we'll go further, Craig. There's some more crossing up ahead here. Oh, and there was a slender mongoose. Did any of you see it run across in front of the vehicle? Maybe you would have seen. My big head wasn't in the way, but there was one ran. Oh, that was really nice. So there was a herd of elephants that also walked up Gowrie Cutline. Maybe that's what disturbed the leopards from their slumber. Hi, Elise. What you eating? I'm trying to find the nicest gap. I think we'll get a gap. Yeah. Hi, girl. Don't be ugly to us, please. We're just going to watch this cow. Hello, girls. Relax. It's okay. She's a young cow, but she's being pushed by this bull. Please don't take your frustrations out on us, young lady. We'll help you. I'll shout at that bull for you. It's okay. Relax. She was just showing a little bit of agitation, but I don't think it's actually aimed at us. You see this bull coming up right on the left-hand side. Now, her mammary glands are quite full. I don't see a young calf, but some of the rest of the herd is just off in the distance. So maybe she's exuding lots of hormones at the moment, and this youngster who shouldn't be mating with the females, he's particularly young, probably just coming into his 20s, and is probably quite intrigued by the smells, and probably quite excited and confused at the same time. So now he's following this female around, and she's not an old girl either, she's a young cow. Look at that, making sure he stays within a couple of meters of her, not getting left behind. And there's another youngster coming this way. They're crossing onto Djuma, so that's good. Actually, keep an eye throughout the day on the dam cam. Maybe they go towards Vuyatela Dam, or they might actually go to Galago. That's a pumped pan, so they do prefer that. Here's an even younger bull. You can see he doesn't seem too keen on following that young lass around. He's more worried about eating, but I don't think he wants to be left behind. Now, this is not the entire herd. We will go back once these ones cross over and see if we can find the youngsters, because there were a couple of little ones. Oh, there's some that have actually already crossed on the other side. I'm just doing a scan. Let's go back. Let's try. Snazzy. You said that you think that they look like they're having fun. Yeah, I suppose. I think they do. I think if we find the little elephants, it'll definitely be more interesting. I'm going to go back here. They come now. This is not the young ones though. Maybe it's actually a bigger herd than what we initially thought, Craig. Maybe that first group has actually already crossed on. They're going back towards Mvubu Road in this fire break. Oh, there's no little ones here at all. They must have already gone across. There's a big cow. Look at her. She's beautiful. Oh, I wonder if this is not the same herd that we had yesterday very briefly, because patch on this? No, I don't know. It's quite far away, but they can travel massive distances. But that herd we had was huge. She just looks very familiar, this elephant, with her tusk shape, and then also the way that she's secreting heavily from her temporal glands. She's very pregnant, this cow. Very, very much so. I'm trying to see if she's got suckle marks. Not quite suckle marks that you can see on a lion and leopard, but you can normally see a sort of saliva mark on the mammary glands. I can't, so I think she might be bearing. Hello, big girl, which will explain why she's so stressed and why she's secreting so much from her temporal gland. She's not bothered with us, which is quite nice. Just stopping, having a nibble. They seem to be feeding on a lot of the bush willows at the moment and the round leaf teaks. That's what they're going after. Hello, big girl. Have I given you enough room? I think we have given her enough room. She's going to just cross in front of the car. Just having a little nibble. Hello, girl. I'm just watching her very carefully. You've got to make sure you watch these girls, especially when, you know, they're slightly on the temperamental side. Hey, big girl. Do you mind us? Or are you okay with us? Hello, girl. Thank you. No. She's just telling us, don't you come too close to me. I'm pregnant lady coming through. I reckon is what she said to me. Make space. I'm hungry. Actually, I don't know what I'm even talking about. There's lots of elephants around here. Right, let's go find the herd. What do you think, Craig? Another one crossed down below us. So they've all come from all over, quite spread out. So not a tight knit group. It might be one family, it might be 2 or 3 different families that are just moving in the area. Remember, coming into winter, the animals do tend to form larger groups, and we'll search for good grazing areas. Oh, there's lots of ellies here. We'll go down and have a look at this lot, and then hopefully we'll make our way along Mvubu Road and see if some of those youngsters have maybe popped out that I saw earlier. Wouldn't that be nice? And then maybe they do us a favor, maybe they flush a leopard out for us too, so we'll listen out for any distress calls, because that'll be an indication they have maybe seen, oh, there's a little one, but it's coming, it's still far away. Not a teeny tot. We'll just stop here because it'll come back to this way. Hello, girl. You guys are lovely. I'm so happy to see all of you. Thank you, elephants. Michael, seems as though we were actually chatting about, we often chat about animals and how fast they can go. You're wondering, how fast can an elephant run? It's around 40 kilometers an hour or so, which is a lot faster than you and I could run, but I can outrun them in the cars, of course. These vehicles can move very, very quickly. Craig, can I draw your attention away to those birds sitting on the top of that tree? I don't know what they are, I just want to see what they are, especially the one on the left. What on earth is that? Why do I not know this bird? It's got a white rump, like a white-browed sparrow weaver normally has, but that doesn't look like a sparrow weaver to me. Maybe I'm just confused. Maybe a juvenile. What about a juvenile ground scraper thrush or something like that? I'm just trying to think. No, I have no idea what this bird is. And I think there's 3 of them. Can we see the others? I want to see if they're maybe going to give us some more insight. I have no idea what that is. Does anybody help? Anyone can help me out, please do. Hashtag Safari Life. Perhaps it's just a bird I haven't seen for a while and I can't remember it. But I don't know why. I don't know what this is. Very long beak. Like I said, white rump. What on earth were those? Isn't that interesting? There's 3 of them. They've just landed again. Can we try and... I know we... Oh, okay. We won't look at the birds because I'm sure you got screenshots because there's a little baby elephant. Sorry, Craig. That's my fault. It's me being inexperienced. I'm going to duck for the little elephant calf because we were waiting for it to pop out. Hello, Ellie. will you get all the attention now? We'll go back to the birds, but you're way cuter. Not very young, maybe almost a year old now. Actually, maybe at about a year. Just munching away, not too worried about not being directly at mom's side, so that's also another indication that it's slightly older. A little bit of independence, not complete independence though. And off it goes. I'd like to hear those birds call. Oh yes, I forgot about them. Dirk, you said you think it was a wattled starling. Thank you, I completely forgot about them. We haven't seen them for quite some time. So sometimes this type of thing actually happens. I'm just watching this fella as he walks past us over here. Hello, young man. Yes, you're so big and strong and scary. Not really, not at this age. Although he could still do a bit of damage to the cars, but he's not too worried. He's okay. So thank you very much, Dirk. I completely forgot about those wattled starlings. I'm actually going to look at them now. S for starlings, while you look at the elephant. That's so interesting, guys. So appreciate all your help. Sometimes, you just forget, and these things happen quite often. Where are you? Wattled starling. Yeah, it is. Some under the non-breeding juveniles. Let's see if they've got juveniles. Female. Yeah. No, they were juveniles. That's exactly what they were. So that's why they looked unusual. Craigie, can I show everyone a picture very quickly, just while we're here? My phone has got a lot of new cracks to the protective cover, which is fantastic. Been dropping it lots lately. So there's the juvenile. See that? So that's what we were looking at. And now for those of you that have never seen a wattled starling before, I'm going to go back. That's a female, but you can see the little patch of yellow by its eye. Then if we go to the males, look at that. See? Isn't that cool? So a male and a female. So you can see why they look so different from the ones that I saw, and that's the problem with juvenile birds, is they're interesting and they sometimes don't even resemble the adults, but very cool. Hadn't seen one for a while. Now let's get back to the elephants. So again, I'm going to say it just one more time. Thank you so much, Dirk, for your help. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I can't wait. And I'm speaking of starlings, because I do love I love all the birds. I can't wait for the violet-backed starlings to come back. They're so pretty, and they've got such a beautiful call. That's normally what you first do. You don't actually see the starling. You hear it, and you go straight away, oh, we need to find one. Okay, so back onto Mvubu Road we go. Oh, let me call this. Also, I need to call the sighting in. Right. I need to call the sighting on the radio very quickly and try and reposition for the best spot for the elephants. Let's go back across to Ali. She's been doing a fair amount of tracking, and hopefully her hard work is going to pay off.
Well, it hasn't just yet. I think the whoever it is, it's enjoying making us drive around. So not any actual animal, just a whiff of any spots all around. Oh, hello, warthogs running in front of us. Always with their tails up like a little flag that's being waved. Alright, I think they have moved up. Now I want to try one more road and see if perhaps I can go walking in once more, but it seems like it's been a tricky tracking session. Now, hopefully we will come right at one point, and like I said, I am hoping that these tracks do come out somewhere else, but it seems like there's been a lot of general vehicle movement down in the southern part of the reserve, so the tracks are likely being driven around, and that's probably why I can't find them. Saw some block where we bumped into. So I wonder if perhaps it's not the way to start looking for them. Who knows, maybe one of them will be kind enough to grace us with their presence, and I'm talking to you, Shangile, if you're out there. Be out here. Tracks all around here. Now we're gonna keep our eyes open also on top of the trees, because we know that a lot of them enjoy spending some time on top of the marulas, so hopefully we'll be able to, if not track them, at least spot them from somewhere or have them bump into us. Although I find with leopards they'll also often decide to bump into you rather than anything else. But we've got one more spot, like I said, that I would like to try and check. So hopefully that spot will be the lucky one, because otherwise I think I'm just seeing tracks going up and down and moving around. Alright. It's actually quite nice and warm right now. I think it's been one of the warmest mornings that we've had in the last few days. Like I said, when we first started to drive, I thought that for once I had wore too many clothes. So the temperature is 56 and 19. And for once I actually feel that's about right, if not perhaps a little bit warmer. Alright. Let's see. Lots of elephant dung on the road. Talking about elephants, seems like Taylor has managed to reposition this time and found a tiny little elephant.
Yes, Ali, I repositioned it this time. I'm not going to make the same mistake as I made yesterday. But look at this little elephant. It's the one that walked right in front of the road, just feasting on delicious brown and green leaves. Oh, yum. Isn't that appetizing, Craig? Doesn't that make you hungry? No, sadly not for us. Now, the herd's actually moving fairly quickly, not stopping for too long, just grabbing a couple of mouthfuls of grass and leaves here and there. But they do seem to be making their way. I don't know yet. It could go either way. They're either going to go towards Gallagher Pan or they're going to go straight towards Rudetilla Dam. Both at the moment are in the sort of same direction that these elephants are heading in. So you'll see, maybe they'll do both. Maybe they'll have a splash around. But I don't necessarily think so, because it's quite cool today. I think she looks like this cow has got, her lips look quite wet. And the tip of her trunk looks wet too. So I wonder where they had a drink. Maybe they stopped at Tamboti Dam? So maybe they're not going to go and drink water at all. Yeah, it actually does look like they've already had a drink. Right, we need to keep repositioning. We can play the reverse game. Reverse game with the elephants. And carry on down the road. Hi, big girl. You are so lovely. Let's try and get in front of them again. Or they might just come and feed in this drainage system. That's also another possibility. They seem to be going, though, from one bush wallow to another. Every time they stop at one, they'll grab a leaf. Let's just see. I'm going to just keep the car running, because if she comes towards us, I don't want to block her. Oh, no, she's not. She's changing direction now. That's fine. We can switch off. It is beautiful. The wind is starting to pick up now. It might be a windy afternoon. I hope not for the boys. Also, this is going to be the last Ali and Taylor drive for quite some time. Isn't that sad? I'm quite sad about that. I've enjoyed having Ali around camp. It is very nice. It's also been very, very lonely being the only female presenter, but luckily for me, all the lovely ladies in Final Control are in fact ladies. So they stay around on the young calf now, going in for a suckle. Yeah, you can see that. Look at Mom sidestepping and swatting at her youngster with his tail, saying, "You are too old to be suckling." That's exactly what's going on there. So that makes me think even more that she's definitely bearing a calf. Now, Anna, you're wondering if elephants can, or the females in particular, obviously, can they secrete milk before an actual birth? Yes, they do. So, and the reason why they do this, Anna, is elephants only give birth every 4 to 5 years or so. So it's quite a big gap between their calves, and the youngsters will suckle for a couple of years. So the young calf is constantly stimulating that mammary gland too. And this one is just at the age that it's being weaned. I reckon that this cow, she's got quite a big bulge to her side. I don't think she's necessarily far off from giving birth, and that's why that calf keeps going there, is because it knows that if it can latch on, then it is going to be able to suckle and get milk. And once this cow has had her next calf, obviously the youngster, the new one, gets preference. But when mom's not concentrating, because I'm sure they zone out, just as we as humans and moms often zone out, doing something when she's feeding, the older calf will come in and actually try and sneak a suckle too. So yeah, so her mammary glands are full at the moment. hopefully they hang around here. It'd be really nice to capture an elephant birth live. That would be really amazing. I think that would definitely be a first. We've seen impala, we've seen the zebra giving birth, but something as amazing as an elephant, wow, that would be truly a breathtaking experience. And she's coming back this way again. Hey, big girl, you're going to come and feed on this bush willow? Yeah, she's walking straight towards it, reaching up for those yellow leaves. Delicious. Is it amazing? Bush willows are quite sort of scrappy trees. I think it's due to the elephants, though. You don't often see bush willows that are tall, have got a nice thick trunk to them. They always have got lots and lots of branches coming out from the ground, and that's because one of the main food sources of the elephants. Let's see who's going to come out this way now. See, I still don't know which way they're going to go. And could even turn and go back towards Gallagher shortcut side. The little one is struggling. Yes, you're going to get left behind. Oh, eating a very prickly bush, eating a buffalo thorn. Hasn't quite got the taste of bush willows, but look what it's doing. It's actually not going after the leaves. It's the branch in its mouth. And it is chewing on the branch to loosen the bark. And then normally they do a corkscrew motion with that tree, and then that's how they'll strip. Now they're not after the hard sort of outside layer. They're after the cambium layer, which is just on the underside on the inside, sorry, of the tree, and that's filled with nutrients. That's the layer of the tree that transports the nutrients from the roots up to the tops of the leaves. Here comes a little one. Also, again, like I said, every 4 to 5 years of giving birth, so I'll say this one must be somewhere around there, between 4 and 5 years old. Off you go. Shame, did you get booted? You couldn't get any milk. You tried so hard. Now, as we're looking at these elephants, we've been seeing quite a few young bulls coming through and sort of harassing some of the younger cows. And Michelle, you're wondering, at what age do the elephant bulls get pushed out? So I'm going to tell you this while we try and reposition again. We'll actually face the elephants this time. So it depends. There's actually quite a gap. You know, I've seen elephants as young as 15, 16 years old, obviously just a rough estimate of their age, being pushed out. And then I've seen elephant bulls only being, kicked out at around 20. So I think it just depends on the individual. Firstly, depending when they start to get a bit frisky, that'll come in at different ages. The same thing with humans. When puberty hits, it's not the same with every person. The same thing goes with animals. It can be slightly different. And then it also depends on their behavior. So if they only start exhibiting this boisterous behavior and pushing the youngsters around at a later age, and they can stay in the herd, they're not going to be a problem. The females won't mind them. And the issue is that they come through and they bully the youngsters. They start trying to mate with females. They're very sort of uncertain and confused about all the smells that they might be picking up, all the pheromones that are coming off of the cows. And that sort of sends them a bit loony. And then that's when they become a problem, and then that's when the cows say, right, we're not standing for this anymore, out you go. And they chase them out. I'm trying to get a view of our little friend. There it is. So that's typically when, and it's actually not a very nice thing to watch. We can see it quite often. It's not a uncommon thing to see young bulls being pushed out of the herd, but I'll never forget the one experience I had in the Eastern Cape with a breeding herd that was actually just reintroduced to an area. And sure, this poor bull, well, I didn't actually feel sorry for him, because he was really boisterous and he was annoying. He even caused trouble at the lodges. He was just a problem elephant. He needed to meet up with a big elephant bull to get a hiding. And it was a process that happened over a few weeks. And the cows just stood their ground, and every time he got too close to the herd, they would trumpet and they would charge at him and almost form a wall and push him away. And then he'd get the point, and then he'd hang back, and he couldn't help himself. He'd be back again that afternoon, and then the same thing would happen. You'd hear trumpeting and distressing, and you sort of think, my goodness, have they spotted a predator? What's going on? And it wasn't. It was just a young bull harassing the herd. I think, Craigie, let's move forward, because I saw a whole lot of elephants. There's a whole lot more coming down this way now, and maybe we'll catch them out in the open. Let's go see if we can find any other little elephants. It's actually a big herd. I don't know how many are here now. Please flush the leopard out too. Chase him up a tree. That would be nice. Some more youngsters. Sort of try and get in their direct pathway so that we can view them in the open gaps. There they are. Oh, there's lots of little ones there. So Snazzy, thank you again for all of your questions. I really am enjoying them. And if you'd like to ask questions this morning, remember you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. So another one was, do elephants sleep for short periods of times like a giraffe? It's actually very interesting. So recently, when I say recently, a few months back, an article came out. There was a study that was done on elephants. It was very interesting, and it sort of changed our perspective of how often elephants sort of sleep. Initially, we thought that elephants would sleep, maybe 4 to 5 hours a day, and they fitted elephants' trunks, a group of elephants, with, I suppose, a device like a step counter, so it monitors movement. And if you think about it, the part of an elephant that's moving consistently is its trunk. And obviously when its trunk would go completely still, you can imagine that it's obviously not moving, it's resting, because they typically will dangle their trunks flat on the ground. So how great is this? So they did the study and they found out there was one elephant that didn't rest for 48 hours, just carried on moving. So I think it depends on what's actually going on. Are they stressed? Do they need to keep moving to try and find food? Is there a shortage of food? Are they in dire need to get water? Are there predators around? What's the story? All these types of things will then determine how often an elephant will sleep. And again, every individual is different. Like, I don't need very much sleep. I can survive, not great. I'm a little bit grumpy, must admit, but I can go for a week with just 3 or 4 hours of sleep, sometimes even a little bit less than that. And that's not a problem with me. But for instance, Craig might need, what do you say, Craig? You need solid 8 hours? Sometimes more. Craig needs about 15 hours of sleep a day. No, I'm just teasing. He's like a lion. No, he doesn't need that much sleep. So it just depends. So I would say on average you might find that elephants are resting for 2 to 3 hours a day. But they don't necessarily lay down. The youngsters do. Their legs get tired and weary after traveling long distances, so it's not uncommon to see the little ones laying flat on their sides. I have seen adult elephants also laying flat on their sides, but I can count those experiences on my hand. And I'll never forget the one day I came across an elephant. I thought it was dead. It was just fast asleep, and then I heard a strange noise, and it was snoring. And I just sat there, and eventually the rest of the herd moved off and left this elephant. It looked exhausted, and she got up very slowly, and then she started feeding for a bit, and then she caught up with the rest of the herd, and she just quite happily she laid back down again, which was funny. Another thing that I have also seen is elephant bulls, big tuskers, sticking their tusks into the side of banks to almost obviously relieve some of that weight that's coming off of their heads. Because remember, elephants are massive. All the weight is in their head and in their shoulders. It's the heaviest part of their body, so it must be quite tiring. And even that trunk with all those muscles must be exceptionally heavy. So they would rest there. Well, there was a bull in the Eastern Cape that used to do it. It was such a funny sight to see, but very clever. Very, very clever. Sometimes you'll see elephants actually resting up against termite mounds, and I suppose that's to just help them when it comes to sort of getting up as well, which again, very clever. So they're not stupid, these animals. They are so smart. They definitely think about what they're going to do. Oh, those little ones are now running around. Look at them. Go. Woo! Catching up with the adults. They got left behind. They were playing too much there. So that's nice. But we'll stick with these elephants for a little bit longer. It's quite nice to spend time with them. And, of course, they're my favorite animal. It seems as though Ali has moved off of the designated roads and she's sort of turned onto the grassy tracks. Let's go see what she's trying to follow up on.
Well, we had some impala making funny noises, so we were hoping that perhaps that would lead us to the mystery leopard that's been walking around here. However, we didn't have such luck, and the impala relaxed, so whoever it is, or whatever it is that was making them a little bit antsy, it doesn't seem to be there anymore. So, I think... Woo! Did I just give us a flat tire there?
No, I think it's fine.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Alright, well there was a very big fallen off tree that I thought that I could wangle my way around. Probably not. There was a bit of danger involved in off-roading. Shame, Rusty, I'm so sorry. Alright. I think Philemon's Cutline is the way, Seb. That is the way forward for us. Because these leopards have been playing games with us. And we've definitely tried, but I have no idea where this creature has gone off to. It's being very elusive. I think maybe yesterday we were so lucky in the morning with 2 leopards that maybe they think they can, you know, if we get 2 on the one day, they are allowed to have a day off the next day. How unfair. Alright, I think maybe if we go around Philemon's Cutline, that's probably the last way where we can find some tracks. And I wonder if perhaps these aren't even the tracks for Tingana. He's well known to actually mission around quite a bit, so from here to Ingus is not that far, and then he would have had enough time to just move off somewhere else and then go all the way onto Huffman's. So could be that it was him all along. I was kind of hoping it was going to be a different leopard, but who knows. Tingana does like to move quite a bit, especially when he is on a territorial patrol. Then he seems to cover a lot of ground and nothing can stop him. But oh well, always worth trying and following up, because you never know what we're gonna get just around the corner. But I think maybe I don't know, where should we go now? Let's try a different road altogether, because I think I close my eyes and I see the same patch of road and the same fallen off tree. Maybe we'll get lucky somewhere else. And of course, well, there's always the afternoon to try and get any of our cat friends. Everything's looking a little bit greener this morning, I feel. I don't know if it was perhaps because it's been quite dewy the last 2 mornings and there's been a lot of moisture in the air, and it seems like it's washed away the dust from a lot of the plants. So I'm sure a lot of animals are going to be happy that their food is not as sandy or as dusty as it normally is. Everything's looking quite pretty. But I'm not ready for winter to be finished yet. I'm not ready to go into summer. Well, I don't think we are going to be going into summer anytime soon, to be fair. Still another month at least of full-on winter. Now, let me just keep an eye out here on this road, just in case there are any tracks. Ooh, without me crashing into a tree, that's probably the best thing to do. Now, what are these tracks? Nope, not leopard. Not leopard. Seems like Taylor's enjoying the company of the elephant herd, so let's go over to her while we try to find pretty much anything else.
Laughing. This little elephant came running over to the car, and you see how it's pretending like it doesn't even know that we're here now. It's going, I just wasn't interested in you, I was just playing games. I love little elephants, it's quite curious. So as it started running towards the car, I was in the corner of the screen and I was sort of doing like shadow boxing as if I was fighting back, which was quite hilarious. Well, it made Megan giggle. I almost made her stumble over her words. And I still don't know what these elephants are doing. Some of them are going more towards Vuyatela Dam now. The rest of them are coming towards us, which is quite fantastic. The little ones are coming closer, which is making me very, very excited, because I love to be surrounded by elephant calves. There is nothing in this world that brings me more joy. Really, there are very few things. Here they come. I think maybe it might be exciting. So this is not one of the young ones I'm talking about, but it's quite interesting because it's carrying its breakfast with it now. Bush willow leaves. Yum, yum, yum. That's a little bit too big for you. Now, trying to navigate obstacles and trying to eat and trying to control that trunk must be quite difficult. It's given up now. It's actually dropped its food on the floor. Oh, now here come the little ones. They're the 2 little ones I was telling you about. Now, Haas and Ram. You're wondering, what are the signs of an elephant before they will attack? Well, firstly, encountering an elephant, particularly in this area, having an aggressive encounter with an elephant, and I'm very happy to say this is actually quite slim. We don't often get ourselves into situations like that, just because the elephants, in Touchwood, are not being poached in this area. Unfortunately, it's the rhinos that seem to be taking all the poaching at the moment in the Greater Kruger National Park. It's very sad, but the elephants have been lucky enough to catch a break, so they're not particularly going after ivory in South Africa, but they do still poach heavily for ivory in Zambia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, all these countries just slightly north of us, and in Mozambique too. So here, the animals, the elephants in particular as well, tend to have quite a good relationship with the vehicles. So they don't mind us at all. They get a bit sassy every now and then, especially the young bulls. They try and assert their dominance over us, and the odd big elephant bull that's a bit upset and is in musty or panic. But the signs that you're looking for are when an elephant raises its head and opens its ears, shaking of the head, stomping of feet and sort of kicking up of dust, even something as subtle as twisting its trunk towards you or lifting its tail away from its bottom and moving it to the side. All these different things are all sort of agitation signs. But an elephant will give you so many warnings before it just has a go at you, I promise you right now. They are not known to just attack unless, and of course there's exceptions to every single rule out here. Maybe that elephant is particularly stressed, maybe she feels her calf is threatened, then of course she's not going to give you very many warning signs. She might shake her head once and then come at you, so you have to be careful. Oh sweet, look at that other one, little one there, coming with a sibling. Now I'm trying to figure out who's who here. Almost said who's who in the zoo, like I always say. I wonder if this mother is not the mother of twins, because these two youngsters, these two calves, seem to be following this girl around, and they don't seem to be moving away from each other. Now, twins in elephants is not particularly common, you can imagine, especially because of their size. We see lots of twin births with the antelope species, impala, blesbok. That's not uncommon. You actually can see it a couple of times during the year, well, during the birthing season, the lambing season. But with elephants it's not uncommon, but not impossible. But it's very difficult to say. But I haven't seen them go towards any mothers. They're just staying around here. But again, sometimes, you know what it's like, you drop your kids off at your friend's house and they've got young children and they play, so that can happen too. Are you going to walk right past the car? See, Mom's not happy now. Mom, that elephant bull at the back, he's getting too close. And she's just saying, come little ones, come. Let's not get sort of caught up with the big bull. Now, Snazzy, you're wondering if the elephants scare me. I have a healthy respect for elephants. They're the animal that makes me the most nervous when you're in a car, because remember, they're the only ones, if they wanted to, which again, it's not an elephant's mission to see how many cars it can turn over. They really are placid creatures. So you have to be respectful for them. That's why I watch them very carefully. And you don't really want to get caught between an elephant bull pushing a female around and be stuck in the middle, because it's sort of difficult to see them, and now it's turned out to be fantastic. Now, Jan Eric, you're wondering how long will that mother look after those little ones for? For quite some time. If it's a female, she'll stay in the herd for the rest of her life, and they'll have a long-standing relationship. He's very bossy, that bull. You can see he's following that car around. If it's a bull, however, we were chatting about how they get chased out normally anywhere between 16 and 20 years. I'm just watching. Let me reposition quickly, Craig. Just do this. It's okay, little one. Don't be scared of me. I love all of you so much. Oh, hang on. Here's the other mom. See? So the other mother has now come back. So there's not twins. It was just that the older cow, who's probably the matriarch in this group because she's the biggest one, she was just looking after her offspring's friend, which is quite common. Elephants are such social creatures. You see a lot of that sort of babysitting, and sometimes in extreme cases when an adult is poached or dies of natural causes or taken by predators, any of these things, sometimes the other elephants will actually adopt that young calf, which is really amazing. You don't see that too often out here. This is so great. Yeah, little one's going back to mom, going, "Oh, I've been playing all day, I'm so thirsty." Even though it's trying to eat vegetation, it's still predominantly suckling milk. I think it's just happy to see mom again. They have a very special bond, very strong bond. Look there. Hi, I missed you so much. Oh, that's so sweet. It's such a tender moment. Now going, Mom, please stand still. Yes, come around this side. That's easier. And then we can see nicely. Oh, you are very cute. Now, Maritza, you're wondering if an elephant cow would adopt another one's baby. We actually were just chatting about that. They can. And not all the time, but sometimes they will. Look, there we go. Yes. Look how look at the little trunk. Curling it straight back onto the head, going, "Oh, that was delicious. I need that." Yes, but I know I can see you very inquisitive by the sound of my voice. You see how the little one keeps looking over at us every now and then? I'm hoping it's going to come over and say hello. Sammy Jane, you've said such peaceful creatures. They are indeed. They're, well, not all the time, but most of the time, like we were saying, they're very placid. They just go about their day, eating large amounts of food and drinking lots and lots of water. But you don't want to be on the other end of an upset elephant. I think that's right up there with things I do not want to experience. It's not fun. It can actually be very scary. You see all these videos all over the interweb of cars being rolled by elephants. I don't ever want to experience something like that. I don't know, if I'd be able to come back after something. It would be a really terrifying experience. You have to have respect for Africa's giants, for all the animals out here. It's important that we respect them. We are lucky enough to be out here every single day enjoying these sightings that they give us. So when they tell you that they're unhappy with you, even if it's just the slightest, but except when it's a naughty young elephant bull trying to assert his dominance over you, then you do not stand for that nonsense. You hold your ground and you tell him off. But if it's a cow that does it, it's very important that you, of course, respect her, because they don't get upset unnecessarily. Normally they have a valid reason for it. Sometimes we don't know these reasons and we have to just try and guess, but we try and keep the girls happy at all times. Right, it seems as though Ali has now moved away from Treehouse Dam. She had a good squiz around there, and she's on her way towards Vuyatela Dam. What she might see, I'm not sure, but I'm sure the birds will be around.
Well, we hope the birds will be around, but if not the birds, then there are a few impala. My goodness! The first herd that we've seen the whole morning. Aren't you excited, Sam? I feel like this is the best thing that has happened this whole morning, besides from the sandpaper bush. Hello! Good to see all of you. Guys, you're going the wrong direction. You were supposed to go drink at the dam now, not be done with the dam. Alright, fine. I'll forgive you all. My goodness! There's a kudu in front of us. It's all happening. We should have come here way earlier. Now there's a young kudu in front of us, and I think there's one behind it, so I wonder if perhaps there's the rest of the kudu herd around here, as these two seem still a bit too young to be on their own. Look at those big ears. Seems like we are catching the last of the migration, moving away from the water. Guys, are you gonna go to Ndutu now? All the way onto the Serengeti? Alright, I want to come down this side of the road because I think we're going to be able to see the kudu mothers around here. But now I think I've given up with this leopard. I cannot seem to find it, and now there are more tracks going into the Molowati, but for a female, and it seems like at one point they meet up with the male that we were looking at. So did you guys see that kudu jump? That was incredible. What an easy jump. No ways as a human we would be able to jump like that. So kudus are actually known for being such great jumpers, or high jumpers, so hopefully they'll go up again. Come guys, one of you. Oh, that'll be quite cool. I think they want to. I'm gonna push them any further, but I'm hoping that they're gonna come. Come on, kudu, jump. There's the one that's being left behind. Oh, hopefully this one will jump. No? No. I think maybe it was just a bit of a show-off earlier on. Okay, we've got one more hope of a jumping kudu. Come on! I think my encouragement is not well appreciated by the kudu. Nope. Seems like the mothers, being the ladies that they are, they have decided to find a spot where they can walk up and there's no jumping involved. Which is quite sad, because seeing kudu jump is very cool. Alright. Kudus, I think we're gonna have to leave you guys and go onto the dam wall. See if perhaps we can see anything from there. We can almost smell the water from here. Whee! Bye-bye! Now, I can't believe they jumped so easily. And it was obviously a youngster that jumped around, because who else would like to skip around and play other than a young kudu? Just stretching its legs and learning how high it can jump. Now let's see what there is around here at Gari Dam. Seems like good old friends, the Hadida ibis, and of course the Egyptian geese. And what is that fluttering? Hadida ibis are such pretty, and so are the Egyptian geese. These are potentially, however, two of the noisiest birds that we get in this area. So once they start calling, there's no way that we would not hear them. They are quite pretty, and these lapwings don't have any chicks around here, which is quite sad, because it would be quite nice to see them here, as well as these two goose that are now swimming away. My goodness, I think it's the first time that I've ever taken off so many layers during a drive. Alright, I thought I saw something fluttering around that was a smaller bird, perhaps something interesting to see, but I can't figure out where it's gone off to now. I think perhaps these are more sparrows. Let's see. How can I? Do you see the ibis?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go in a straight line, they're fluttering around there.
For the dove.
Alright,
the dove?
the ring-necked dove. Yes, next to the dove, that tiny little one moving there. That's a sparrow. Now, let's check which sparrow, because it's not the great-headed parrot. Sparrowt. Sparrow. I don't know why I'm saying parrot. And it looks like perhaps a Cape sparrow, I want to say, but they don't occur here, so it's got to be a house sparrow. Where did you guys go? They're not being all that helpful, considering they're small little creatures, very similar to the color of the mud, so it's a bit of a tough one. Let me just show you what we saw on the book, because they... where are you guys going? Stop fluttering around. Okay, well, they have now left us, but we were looking at this one. Ooh. You stay right there. We were looking at the house sparrow. So beautiful little birds that were flying around, and this very prominent dark mark that they had when they were moving all around. Very, very pretty. Alright, and I think that is it for all the tiny little ones that have been fluttering around this particular dam this morning. I have hope that there's going to be something quite rare. Let's just keep the binos out, and then maybe we'll be able to see something else that we haven't seen this morning. Perhaps some spots hiding in the distance. Nope, don't think that's quite the case this morning. No, I think it's quite empty, funny enough. James, you're wondering which bird species has the most limited diet. Well, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think all of the birds have got pretty specialized diets. Some of them will only just eat fruit, some of them will just eat meat, like some of our accipiters or birds of prey. But I'm not too sure. General bird diets are quite varied, and it allows them just to be able to survive and use all the different nutritional sources that are around them. So I'm not too sure if there's one in particular that's quite limited, and it will just eat a specific type of fruit, or perhaps a specific predator that they only eat. I think they all have to be quite broad in terms of what they eat, especially around this area, because as we know, some food sources are seasonal, so they might not be able to feed off of it the whole year. But it's a good question, worth finding out. Now, I thought I saw another little bird flying around, but I've lost it again because it was so small. So I wonder if it wasn't yet again another one of the sparrows. But we're looking at the Hadida ibis with its beautiful colors. I think maybe it's tired of looking or probing for food. They've got very sensitive beaks, so when they put them in the water, they actually rather feel their prey rather than seeing it. And once they feel it banging or going against its beak, that's when they close it and they'll start feeding of it. I think they're quite pretty birds. Funny enough, I never used to see them down in the southern Sabi sand ever. Just around the Johannesburg area. I am very concerned about that link. Taylor seems to be tickling an elephant, so I hope she's going to make it out of it alive.
I'm trying to feel how sharp its tusks are. No, I'm just joking. That would be a very stupid thing to do. So no getting out the car and trying to touch the elephants. It's just sometimes it works out so well where you can do things like this. Where's my hand? Where is my hand? There's my hand. Do you want to eat? Do you want to take something? No? No? But what was really great about this elephant is that, and I hope he does it again, he was picking up massive branches that had been broken down previously by elephants. Maybe not him, but other elephants. And he moved them out of the way with such ease. And he's looking for nice green grass that was growing underneath it. And it's one of my favorite behaviors of elephants. Well, everything that an elephant is just my favorite. But we will see that going into the drier months now. And as everything starts to turn even more brown, the grass is disappearing fairly quickly now. They will do that. They'll pick all the vegetation up, throw it to the side. And if you look very carefully, you can actually see a couple of green sprigs that he's managing to pick up. Well, not quite green, but not as yellow as the rest of the grass that's being burnt by the sun on a daily basis. Very clever. He's relaxed now. He's actually not pushing and shoving the youngsters around like he was earlier. He's quite relaxed. Now, Maggie, you're wondering if elephant tusks can break off, and if so, do they regrow? Well, they can break off indeed, and I don't think it's particularly painful because they don't have any nerves in the top part of their tusk. But as soon as you go towards where the fold of skin is on their heads, the nerve endings start just sort of a couple of centimeters further up from that. And so the tusks grow, but they don't regrow at the tip. They're regrowing from the base, so they're constantly growing all the time. There's an elephant that's just squeezed in behind us. Hello, excuse me, didn't even ask, didn't even say pardon, coming through. Where are your manners? So yes, they do carry on growing, but if they break it too far down, I mean, their tusks don't necessarily grow particularly quickly, especially with the females. It's a much slower rate. They won't grow the tip of it back again. It's quite common to actually see elephants with damage to their tusks, especially the bulls. But he's got lovely ivory on him. He is a really beautiful elephant. I didn't like him earlier because he was bossing the females around and the youngsters. But maybe he was just pushing them out of the way to get to the nice food. And of course, when you are bigger, you can push and shove things out of the way quite easily. Look at this little one. Coming right here. It's trying to do exactly the same thing. Sorry, Craig, I know it's awkward. He's right next to the car. The whole guarri tree is moving around at the moment. He's moving it with his head. Bennett, you said that they're loving that greenery? Oh, most certainly. They definitely are. Now, not feeding on the squarry tree, just feeding on the grass underneath it. Again, it's growing in the shade, so it's not obvious out there to impala or buffalo or zebra. So the elephant is making use of it. And that means it just needs to push the tree out of the way with its head. It's a little elephant. Hello, look how close it's going. Hi, beautiful. That was very nice of you. Thank you, young lady. I'm slouched down in my chair. Didn't even mind. And that's what I love about the animals out here, and why elephants are one of my favorite animals, is I can just sit here, probably turn this way. I can just sit and just watch them, and you move around in the car as long as you don't make too many noises and distractions, and they just don't mind you. I mean, that youngster who couldn't be more than 5 years old, maybe a little bit older than that, was not bothered one little bit to come here and walk right past me. He had everywhere to go. There's plenty of space for it to go around. It's not like it's trapped or anything. Doesn't mind. Just completely relax with the cars. We are so lucky, so fortunate to experience all these animals. Yes, I agree with you, Laramo. You say what a great girls' drive. It is indeed. So again, what a splendid day. We've been very lucky out here this morning. Started off a bit slow, but we had a couple of birds. Did some nice birding today. Saw some wattled starlings, which we haven't seen for a while, and also a quick sighting of a southern bobo, my arch nemesis of a bird. Right, but I hope that you've enjoyed it just as much as Ali and I have. And Ali, I'm going to miss you, and I can't wait for your return. But thank you to all of you for all your questions, and remember to tune in to the boys' drive this afternoon on the Sunset Safari.